Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the WD Broadcasting Network. We are finally ready to go here at the fairgrounds. It took quite a while to get the new microphone dialed in. For some reason or other, I was not getting any sound right when I went to click go live. So I had to restart the computer entirely. And we are here, ready to go. These drivers are qualifying at the fairgrounds. Chris Smith down into turns 3 and 4, making his return. Missed last week at Lanier. So good to have Smith back with us here tonight. Brandon Elvis currently quick time in the 4 machine. That's going to do big dividends to the bigger story on the night, which we'll get to in just a moment. Brandon Atkinson completes his second lap. He'll go 8th quick in the 15. And now the guy who's been the one to beat in qualifying all season long, battling with Brandon Elvis for the points championship. Just 19 separating them coming into tonight's race. Now there is a little bit of a complication with drop weeks thrown in there. So it will take some time to sort things out. His first lap time, quick time for Dylan Connor, a 20.23, dead even with Brandon Elvis. We'll see just how close they are in one moment. As we finish up qualifying, we have had 16 drivers take time so far. I do believe that is everybody that is still connected. Gary Smith and Frank Perez have dropped from the session. But this is going to be an intense 75 laps. We'll get the schedule pulled up on screen for you guys. You can see what the season has looked like up to this point. Got a couple repeat winners. Dylan Connor last week at Lanier, going to victory lane for the first time, or the second time, sorry. Some big time momentum that he definitely needed going into the final race, trying to take down the two-time champion Brandon Elvis. Connor leads by 19 right now. He's got some bonus points in qualifying as well. Take a look at the rest of the point standings throughout the field. Christian Peterson in the 3rd spot. I don't think he was able to make it here tonight, unfortunately. So tough break. Christian Peterson going to drop a little bit in the final standings. Adam Fulford also not able to make the call on track. He is up in the race control booth here tonight. Unfortunately, late yesterday, Adam was involved in car accident. Luckily, he was able to walk away mostly unscathed. He has a little bit of wrist pain, which is keeping him out of the seat here tonight, but he is able to be up in the not broadcast booth, but race control booth to help out here with Lead the Pack. So good to have Adam still kind of around, but sucks that we aren't able to see him fight for the win here in this final race. He had a good run last week at Lanier, if you guys remember back. We ran those first 73 laps green. Quite a long race, and they went most of them green. I'm sure we'll see something similar to that here tonight. These drivers are getting their final warm-up session in. Folks, if you're watching as a fan of one of the drivers in chat, let me know down in the comments below. Who are you cheering for? So I know all these drivers go back and look at the race so that they can see that you were watching in support of them. Let me know in the chat below who we're cheering for tonight. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 machine. He's going to be a big favorite coming into this race because just a couple weeks ago, I don't know if you guys saw the stream on Facebook, he was able to pick up the victory in the only short tracks, only streeters division. That race right here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. I finished third. Carter was able to walk away with the win after a hard-fought battle with Gavin Gardner. So we'll see what Carter can do here tonight. Here are your final qualifying results up on the screen. Dylan Connor, quick time in the 91. Brandon Elvis second. Shane Hodges third. Carter Hollingsworth fourth. Chris Smith fifth. John Lyday sixth. Matt Borndren seventh. Connor Knowlton 8th, Brandon Atkinson 9th, Jeremiah Woods 10th, Easton Swain 11th, Brian Gravel 12th, Connor Lee 13th, and Cortland Herman 14th. Took it off the screen there, but we are ready to go feature racing. The invert here tonight was a 6, so we'll invert them by 6 and get ready to send them green as the sun begins to set here at Nashville. We'll look at our starting lineup. On the pole is going to be the number 22 machine of John Lyday. Then Chris Smith in the 80 machine going to roll off to his outside. Row number 2 on the inside lane. Favorite here tonight, Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 machine. Then his buddy Shane going to roll off in the 4th spot to his outside. Brandon Elvis in the 4, going to roll off right next to the guy that he's battling in the points, Dylan Connor. Matt Borndren going to roll off on the inside of row number 4. Then to his outside, it'll be Connor Knowlton, who will be going to the rear here this evening. Brandon Atkinson in the 15, going to roll off on the inside of row number 5. He'll have Jeremiah Woods to his outside in the 75 machine. Then back behind them, rounding out our field, it's going to be Easton Swain in the 11th spot in the 33, then Brian Gravel in the 22, Connor Lee in the 51, Cortland Herman in the 70, then final row, Brandon Kelly in the 9, and Stephen Choate in the 72. The field works their way down the back straightaway. We are just about ready to go green flag racing here as they get the 1-to-go signal this time coming out of turns 3 and 4. The lights are off on the iRacing.com pace car, and for the final time this season, we are going to send them green in the Street Stock Showdown. We have got 15 cars on the track going for 75 laps. We'll see who can get the job done. Pace car makes his way down pit road. And into the restart zone they go. The green flag is up, and we are underway here at Nashville. Down into turns 1 and 2. John Lyday going to take the early advantage down the back straightaway as the field passes by into turns 3 and 4. Clear for the top spot is Lyday. Ooh, Shane Hodges up the racetrack out back. We're 3 wide, lap number 1. Lyday going to lead in the 11 machine here tonight. Chris Smith grabs second early on. Carter Hollingsworth into the 3rd spot. Dylan Connor and Brandon Elvis now fighting for the 2nd position. Come back around to complete lap number 2. Elvis and Connor battling there for the 4th spot. This is what we're going to see a lot of here tonight. It's so tough to pass when you're side by side in the street stocks. You can see a couple cars behind Brian Gravel, Jeremiah Woods. They're side by side as well. This is going to be the battle we're watching all night long. Elvis has to beat Dylan Connor by quite a big margin and probably win the race if he wants a shot at the title. It's still early. We've got 70 to go when they come back this time. But the hill is pretty steep for that 4-car here tonight. Up front for the lead, John Lyday hangs on to it at this moment. He's got Chris Smith and Carter Hollingsworth right behind him. Dylan Connor able to take over the 4th spot. How about Brian Grable in the 22 machine? He's got a victory in the Lead the Pack Super Series here at Nashville. Nashville, his home track when it comes to iRacing. He ran a legend car there a couple times this year, I do believe. So Grable knows his way around Nashville. We'll see what he can do later on. He's trying to work around Matt Borndren, also taking a peek underneath Brandon Elvis. Down the back straightaway they go. About an 8-car breakaway, a 7-car breakaway. Matt Borndren right there tagging on to the tail end of this lead pack. And ooh, Chris Smith thought about going to the inside right there in turns 1 and 2, thought better of it. He will sneak back in line. Coming around this time, lap number 10 will go up on the board. And how about this gaggle for the 8th spot on back? Connor Lee on the inside, Easton Swain up top. They've got Stephen Choate, Jeremiah Woods behind them. A couple cars all packed in there like sardines. Connor Lee finally able to get by in the 51. Now Stephen Choate going to try and take advantage as well on the bottom up front. Here comes Chris Smith to the inside. Chris Smith going to try to fight for the top spot 10 laps in. Not going to be able to make the run work just yet. He'll have to tuck back in behind. And that's what we're going to see a lot of here tonight. You can really drive that car into the corner, but how much can you drive it off? That will be the story. And oh, there is the caution flag. Caution flag flies. I'm not sure what happened there. But the caution flag is out for the first time here tonight. Let's take a look at what happened. And oh, the 33 machine of Swain, I think, got sideways. And that may have been what the caution came out for right there. Now let's take a look at that one more time. Down the backstretch here. Looked like the 70 machine just came up and there was a little bit of a disagreement on space there. I think everybody was able to sort it out okay. Let's watch that save one more time. On board with Easton Swain. He did a heck of a job hanging on to that race car. There's that view right there. And that'll put us under caution for the first time here tonight. I don't know if anybody is going to the back for that. But how about Brandon Atkinson? I think he missed the start. Was not quite ready for the gridding time to be under 2 minutes. I'm not sure what happened there exactly. The caution flag is out. John Lyday going to choose the outside lane, something we don't see very often in the street stocks. Let's see how this pans out for him here. Look at the full view on the left side of our screen of our field. We have 16 cars on the lead lap. It's going to be Lyday and Smith, and it is in the hands of John Lyday when we get through the restart zone. Pace car is off. And they'll wait to get into the restart zone. There they go, firing well. Good jump for the 11 machine. We're green flag racing down into turns 1 and 2. Brian Gravel jumped down to the bottom lane there to get clear. And in front of the 4 machine of Brandon Elvis. Still battling up front for the top spot. Into turns 3 and 4, Chris Smith drag racing. And it's going to be John Lyday across the stripe that time. The 28 of Carter Hollingsworth and the 91 of Dylan Connor, they fight for the 3rd spot back behind them. But how about that outside lane right now, moving very strong, especially on the restarts. You can see Chris Smith on the inside lane just struggling to get that car to drive forward. Dylan Connor in the 91 on the outside lane, fighting for the 2nd spot now as Lyday is clear for the lead. Down into 1 and 2, Chris Smith still fighting for the 2nd spot. Carter Hollingsworth lets the 22 of Brian Grable get around. Move Grable up to the 4th spot. He looks pretty racy here early on. Started in the 12th spot, did that 22 machine, already up inside of the top 5, trying to knock on the door of the top 3 here. Through 3 and 4 that time. The field mostly single file. A couple cars peeking in and out here and there as they head down the back straightaway. You can see your field really starting to get as strung out as we've seen them. Chris Smith riding in the 3rd spot. He started in the 2nd position. This last restart, that 91 machine was able to get by on the outside. The outside lane has been very strong here early on. It's going to be tough to pass on the inside lane. Just the more we get into the run, the more heat you're going to build in the tires, and it's just easier to keep the car wound up on top. You don't have to drive it off the corner as hard. Comes Brandon Elvis underneath Carter Hollingsworth for the 5th spot. Elvis trying to knock back into the top 5. And officially 1/3 of the race down, 50 laps to go that time. And the question is, who has been good on their equipment and who hasn't? It's going to be a battle of who can keep the tires on it. Dylan Connor did a good job last week at Lanier. Drove up from the 9th spot into the lead. Let's see what he can do here. He's got a good run off the corner, but just isn't quite ready to dive it to the inside. He's sizing up that 11 machine. Your top 4 bumper to bumper down the back straightaway. Carter Hollingsworth able to stay out ahead of Brandon Elvis. Matt Borndren right there in the 00, knocking on the door as well. One driver we haven't talked about so much this race, Connor Knowlton in the 2 machine. He's been fast everywhere we've seen him. Had to serve a penalty from last week's race, started from the rear. Up inside of the top 10 early on. He's caught the tail end of this lead pack. We'll see if he he can get around any of them. But we'll start to see guys falling off pretty quickly. We've only had one caution flag. We're 30 laps in. When we come back around this time by, it'll be 45 to go. And the tires do go away quickly here. The sun started to go down, but it's still pretty hot. Try and get the weather up on the right side of our screen. Track temperature still 90 degrees. You can see it down at the bottom. So it's not entirely a cold track. Grable in the 22, looks down to the inside lane. Thinks better of it though. He's going to try and switch him up on the outside. Here comes Brandon Elvis to the bottom. Elvis in the 4 machine once again trying the inside lane underneath Carter Hollingsworth, and you see him kind of using up a little bit more through the center, starting to move that car up the track. That's what you have to do to get the car rotated enough to get a drive off. And Elvis has a nose out in front, but Hollingsworth able to pull back alongside every single straightaway. Makes it tough for the 4 machine. Looks like that time Elvis able to complete the job. He'll move up into the top 5 once again. Back into his starting position. Matt Borndren also trying to take advantage of Hollingsworth up on the top side. Looks like Hollingsworth able to get back down in line. As your top 4 start to break away, John Lyday, 0.3 of a second advantage right now over the 91 of Dylan Connor. Trying to go back-to-back in the final 2 races of the season. Ooh, contact there. Stephen Choate to the inside of Connor Lee. Choate still working the inside lane. He's came up 6 positions from his 16th place starting spot on the grid. Oh, Chris Smith up the racetrack in the 80 machine. I'm not sure if there was contact there or not, but Brian Grable gonna go by in the 22. Grable into the 3rd spot. The biggest mover so far, up to P3 from the 12th spot. Lap number 40 gonna go on the board this time. We've had 1 caution flag so far. We've still got battles just about everywhere on the racetrack. We look a little bit further back. Shane Hodges on the outside of Brandon Kelly. Hodges a little bit further back in the field. Not sure if he's playing a strategy here, trying to save the tires, or what is going on. Usually we see that 70 machine with a little bit more pace. He started up front. We did see him go up the racetrack lap 1 though. Not sure if there was contact that may have hurt the car. Shane right now scored in the 12th spot. Here comes Connor Knowlton to the inside. Connor Knowlton looking to the inside of Carter Hollingsworth. Not going to be able to get the job done there. Will fall back into line. Hollingsworth trying to find the speed to get the 4th spot, or sorry, the 6th spot from Chris Smith. They head into turns 3 and 4, and you can see everybody kind of entering a different line. Go on board with the 28 machine here. Really up on that wheel, having to get it through the center of the corner. Not fighting it too hard on the exit, though, and that's the important thing. You got to keep that car as planted as you can coming up off. And boy, does he have pressure. You can see it right there. Connor Knowlton all over the back bumper and looking at the inside. Here comes Knowlton in the 2. Hollingsworth trying to get the run. He's got Chris Smith right in front of him, which makes it a little bit tougher. But here comes Knowlton down low. .30 laps to go this time. Chris Smith going to go to the bottom. What does that allow Hollingsworth to do? Hollingsworth going to have a nose to the outside of the 80 machine. Into turn 3 that time. The 2 of Knowlton looking 3 wide on the bottom. Thought about it. He's not going to have the run to the inside. Oh, and maybe he does. We're 3 wide. There's contact there. Connor Knowlton drove it in a ton. And he'll keep the run alongside. Carter Hollingsworth going to move up into the 6th spot. And boy, do we have a battle for these final couple spots in the top 10. Hollingsworth up into the 6th position. Up front in the 3rd spot right now. Brian Gravel hanging on. He's got Brandon Elvis, the 2-time champion, right on his back bumper, trying to make a pass. Elvis in the 4 machine. You see him drive down into the corner. Look how smooth on the wheel he is right now. Just trying to be as calm and collected as he can. Approaching 25 laps to go, and here he comes to the inside. Big send there from the 4 machine of Brandon Elvis. Does he have the run to keep it along into turn number 3? It looks like he does not. He's going to have to fall back in and regroup. 25 laps to go here at the fairgrounds. Battle for 6th back behind. Knowlton to the inside of Hollingsworth. He's got Steven Choate back behind him, pushing him into turn number 3. That 2 machine has had a heck of a drive from the 7th place spot, or from the 16th place spot on the grid, up into the 7th spot, fighting for 6th here with Carter Hollingsworth. It'll be 23 to go for those 2 as they come back around. Knowlton moves it up the racetrack a little bit. He's going to be clear. And oh, there's more contact down into turns 3 and 4. .22 laps to go. The battle is heating up for the 3rd spot. Brian Gravel in the 22, trying to hang on to a podium here at his home track. But he's got Brandon Elvis all over the back bumper. They're both kind of moving up the racetrack. Here comes Elvis looking to the inside. Thought about it that time into turns 3 and 4. He's going to have a run to the bottom. Can he make anything of it out of 4? And it looks like he cannot. Into turn 3 that time. Elvis going to move up the racetrack a little bit. There's contact into the left side door of Brian Gravel. Elvis going to try to pull alongside into turn number 3. Is there more contact? Coming back to 19 to go. Elvis back down into 1 and 2 a little bit further up the racetrack. Man, really trying to widen out the 22's groove. You can see him driving the car into the corner a little bit sideways. Gravel on the way outside of the racetrack. Still making it work. And just look at the run. Man, Elvis not able to do anything on that inside lane. He drives it in deep, but it's just getting off the corner. It looks like Gravel gonna take it here on the, or gonna let Elvis take it on the bottom. He'll have Matt Vorndren right behind him. Vorndren gonna look to the inside. The 00 machine wants to get onto the podium here with 16 laps to go. 16 to go at Fairgrounds. We have still only had one caution flag so far. Carter Hollingsworth back in the 9th spot. His buddy Shane back behind him, up into the top 10. And Brandon Elvis has got a mirror full of Matt Vorndren. Vorndren looking to the inside, down the back straightaway. And Matt had a good run at Fairgrounds a couple of weeks ago when we came here with the Only Streeters League. He followed me through the field. He's trying to break his way onto the podium here. It's been quite some time since Vorndren has seen a podium. Actually has not seen a podium here in Leave the Pack. He would love to in the final race of the season. And you can see that 4 machine is starting to lose a little bit of the drive off. We've got 12 laps to go this time for John Lyday, and man, he is starting to open up the gap. The second fastest car on the racetrack right now. Look at the fastest car, actually Shane Hodges in the 9th spot. Hodges, the fastest car on the racetrack. Carter Hollingsworth in the 28 falls out of the top 10 with 11 laps to go. We'll go back to this battle for the 3rd spot. Man, Vorndren on the inside lane, putting up one heck of a fight. Ten laps to go this time. Oh, there was contact back behind between Shane Hodges and Connor Lee. Hodges up the racetrack. Doing it for Tuggy here tonight in the 70 machine. How about Brian Grable right there, or Connor Knowlton, I should say, to the inside of Brian Grable. He's not done fighting here. Coming back to 8 to go. Knowlton once into the top 5 before it's all said and done. Fighting to the inside, John Lyday. 1.4 the gap when he comes back to 7 laps to go here. 7 laps to go, and John Lyday opening up one of the biggest gaps we've seen all season long. Connor Knowlton able to get by there for the 5th spot. Grable drives in right back behind him. Not going to be able to cross him over, though, it doesn't look like. Move Connor Knowlton up into the top 5 with 6 laps to go. John Lyday in the 11 machine comes back to 5 laps to go this time. 5 to go this time for John Lyday, trying to pick up win number 1 with Leave the Pack. We've got a scramble for this final spot on the podium, though. That spot has still not been decided. Vorndren to the inside, trying to get that car to rotate up off. 4 to go. How about Connor Knowlton right there in the 2 machine? He's still charging forward as well. Shane Hodges and Steven Choate not done battling. 3 to go this time. We still have 12 cars on the lead lap. This time, John Lyday gets the popsicle sticks. 2 laps to go this time. 2 to go for John Lyday, trying to hang on to his first ever Leave the Pack iRacing League victory. And man, what a race we've seen. They were fighting back behind him, but John Lyday sat on the pole. The invert a 6. He was fast in practice, and my goodness, was he fast in the race. Nearly 2 seconds separating him and your likely points championship, or points champion Dylan Connor. But up and out of turns 3 and 4, John Lyday going to pick up win number 1 in the season finale. And he's got your champion Dylan Connor back behind him, collecting his first Leave the Pack iRacing League championship. Dylan Connor, a street stock showdown winner 3 times this season, or sorry, twice this season. And a good race to the end. John Lyday picks up the victory. Dylan Connor second. Brandon Elvis third. And we will grab a word from our top 3 finishers when we return in just one moment on the WD Broadcasting Network. Good evening, folks. We're back, ready to wrap things up here at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Got everybody up into the waiting room, so let's see if we can grab a word first from our runner-up on the championship here this season by just 20 points. Third place here tonight, Brandon Elvis up in the booth. You get a copy. Alrighty, well, a fun race here tonight. One moment, we got to make sure we've got Brandon on the broadcast. Let me fix that right quick. Alrighty, Brandon, try it again. You got a copy?
Hey, buddy.
There we go. Got you now. But third place here tonight, started in the 5th spot. Looked just tough to pass all night long. You were able to drive up to 3rd there, but 1 spot shy of Dylan Connor, 20 points shy there when it was all said and done. But it was a good run for you. How do you feel?
Yeah, man, I just kept getting kind of you really needed to be on the outside on the restarts, and my position, just on the bottom. That's just what is what it is. It's really hard to pass. I all but was wrecking Gravel to try to get around him there. Just couldn't do anything with him. By the time I got there, I had used my stuff up to even try to get there. But it's nonetheless, Dylan and Lade, they checked out good and they were fast. They were fast all night, so I have nothing to hang my head about. Was able to finish second to points, which I think is pretty good. Really wanted to go back to back to back, but hey, I didn't even win a race this season, so I really can't say I deserved it. I know we had a couple throughout the season that probably should have won, but should have, could have, would have. It is what it is. Nothing to hang my head over there, and congrats to Dylan on winning the championship.
Yeah, it was definitely a good fight between you guys all season long. It seemed like you guys were always the class of the field right there at the front every single week. So that was a fun battle to keep track of, but still a great season for you. When it was all said and done, you ended up with 9 top 5 finishes, and we only had 12 races. So only 3 races where you didn't finish in the top 5, and the rest, I think you had a top 10 in there too. So a very consistent season for the 4 machine. Who do you have to thank for the consistency week in, week out?
Yeah, man. Just thanks to my team at ECR, primarily just Coleman and Chris and myself nowadays. It's always fun racing with those guys. Just got to thank Chestnut Hill Restaurant, Burial's Performance and Fab, Coastal Performance, WD Broadcasting Network, On Tap, Steve and Brian. Thanks to my wife for letting me do this as much as I do. We have a lot of fun, and she she enjoys it with me sometimes, so that's always fun. Shout out to my mom and dad. I know they're watching right now, pulling for me. I'm sure I'll get a text message here in a few minutes how I burnt my stuff up from my dad. But just shout out to them. Shout out to Chris Smith's dad. I know he's Mr. Dennis. I know he's watching us, cheering us on. So, and thanks to you for putting this league on and doing the broadcast for us, man. It wouldn't happen without you doing it for us. So we're very grateful. And just congrats to Dylan again on his championship. It was well deserved.
Yeah, it's definitely been a lot of fun up here in the booth. I'm sure it was a lot of fun on track. There was a lot of hectic moments, but also so much good racing throughout the field. And lately, these past couple races, we really had a lot of green flag runs, and that opened up the door for some awesome racing. And man, did we enjoy watching it. But congratulations to you one more time, Brandon, on your 3rd place finish here tonight. And we wish you luck in our little mini season that we've got coming up here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Should be fun. I'll look forward to it.
Yes, sir. Alrighty, one more time. That was Brandon Elvis up in the booth. We'll grab a word now from our second... Actually, we'll grab a word from our winner here tonight before we grab a word from the champion. Up into the broadcast booth for the first time, John Lyday, winner here in the Street Stock Showdown. How do you feel after 75 laps at the fairgrounds?
Dude, this is the most unexpected win. And also the biggest win for sure for me. Really just wanted to first say that I dedicate this win for CP tonight. He's got a lot of stuff going on, and I told him if I could ever try and win one, it was going to be tonight for him. So just glad to get the W, and man, I don't know what to think. I don't know whether to scream or what. But it's cool. I'm sitting here still kind of reeling it in. It was domination.
Yeah, it definitely was. 1.96 was the gap officially at the line. You put it to him here tonight. You started on the pole after the redraw, and you had a lot of speed in practice there. Kind of not necessarily missed in qualifying. It was just so close that when you had that invert, that practice speed, that long run speed really came out. And they may have had speed for you there, but you were able to get out, and kind of once the tires got up to temp, everything really evened out, and you started to pull away, and we didn't really see many gaps open up all season long from the leaders. Even with long green flag runs, I don't think we saw anything over a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. And man, you really opened it up here tonight towards the end of this one and sealed the deal. First victory and leave the pack. You said it's a big win for you. Who else do you have to thank? I know you said Christian was a big one on this one. Who do you have to thank for your first leave the pack win?
Yeah, so again, Christian is a huge mentor for me. Teaches me a lot. Brandon Atkinson as well. He's really a big fan of everybody who's willing to put in work and really shoot for wins. And just want to thank everybody else that I race with. Just want to thank Dylan and Brandon for being cool guys as well, and inviting us in and telling us, hey, come run this deal, But I'd like to thank Skyline and Trick Chassis, and just can't believe it, man. This wasn't expected for sure. So just glad to be here.
Yeah, definitely a great victory for you here tonight. A great run. We've seen you make a couple starts here this season. Let me fact check myself. That was start number 6. Previously, you had 3 top 5 finishes, and finally breaking into the win category here tonight at the end of the season. In the finale when it mattered the most, came out to shine. So good run for you here, John. We hope to see you back in these next couple this next mini series that's just what we're going to call it, the mini series. We hope to see you back, but nonetheless, congratulations to you one more time on a dominating first victory in the Lead the Pack Street Stock Showdown.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you allowing me to be here, and always great to talk to you in the booth, man.
Yes, sir. Always good to have you up here. Congratulations one more time.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Okay, now to talk to the man of the hour. He was able to hold off and be consistent enough all season long. Up in the broadcast booth, Dylan Connor, your champion. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty, well, I got the official margin all prepared before we came back to the broadcast. By 20 points, you are the Season 3 Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown champion. And man, what a season we saw you put on. 8 top 5 finishes, 10 top 10s. Just absolutely tore it up. You were the qualifying king. I don't think you really missed a pole for 4 weeks there. It was like, man, who's going to beat this guy in qualifying? But just a great season for the 91. You were always a threat week in, week out. How does it feel to be a champion and lead the pack?
Oh, it feels great, man. It's especially, racing against the competition we got in here. It's got to give a shout out to Brandon Elvis. It was in a tight battle every week. It really just come down to, who had a rough race. It's really, getting taken out or whatever like that. But he's a stand-up guy, great guy to battle out with a championship with. But I mean, not only him, it's stiff competition in here every week. So to be able to do it, to be able to pick up a championship over this amount of competition is pretty special.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the most competitive street stock fields that I have seen week in and week out. We consistently have strength of fields in the 3 and sometimes even 4K in leagues, and that's unheard of. That is ridiculous to have that high of a strength of field in that competition in street stocks, and seeing it play out all season long and seeing everybody battling, it's just been such a blast. It was a blast seeing that 91 machine, especially last week at Lanier. I thought tough passing was going to be tough. You knocked it out of the park. But who do you have to thank, Dylan, for a championship here and leave the pack? And will we see you back?
Well, first of all, I got to thank you for the great broadcast and putting on the league and everything like that. It's been an absolute blast, not only running in the league, but watching it as well. I'd like to thank my dad for all the help spotting for me, Connor Racing, my family and fiance and friends for all the support, my sponsors, Chris and Alan Purrier with Caldwell Banker Elite and Purrier Race Parts, And yeah, I'll for sure be back. It's just there's a lot of stand-up guys in here to race against, and for me personally, that's what I look forward to is running against guys every week that you can trust to race side by side with. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, it's definitely fun. Definitely fun when you can count on being able to get into somebody just a little bit and be like, hey, that's my bad, and them not freak out on you or something like that, or drive in on their outside and not get walled. It's a lot of fun to have trust with the guys that you're racing with, and we saw that all towards the end of the season. A lot of green flag runs. Tonight we only had one caution, and it was, I think, in the first 10 laps. So you guys had a long run there at the end, made tire saving a huge deal, which you were able to do very well all season long. But congratulations to you one more time, Dylan, on your championship and a well-ran season here in the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown.
Thank you, sir.
Yep. Alrighty, folks. That was your winner of the Leave the Pack Street Stock Showdown Season 3 Championship, Dylan Connor. That 91 machine right there collected 2 victories on the season. He will go park it back behind the pit wall. We'll take a look at the finishing results one more time before we wrap things up here in Season 3. John Lyday, your winner for the first time in his career. Dylan Connor, second. Brandon Elvis, third. Matt Borndren, fourth. Connor Knowlton comes home, fifth. Stephen Choate, sixth. Brandon Atkinson, seventh. Shane Hodges, 8th, Brian Gravel, 9th, Connor Lee rounds out your top 10. Jeremiah Woods Jr. comes home 11th, Carter Hollingsworth 12th. Chris Smith comes home in the 13th spot, Brandon Kelly 14th, Cortland Herman 15th, and Easton Swain rounds out your starting field in the 16th spot. So that is going to do it for us here tonight, folks. We'll put the schedule up one more time so you guys can go back and look at your favorite race all right here on the WD Broadcasting Network YouTube. If you guys haven't already, check out the Facebook and Instagram as well. I'm going to try to be more active on the TikTok if you haven't followed there either. But thank you guys one more time for the support continuously throughout the season. It's been a blast to put on this show for everybody. And we hope to see you guys back for more iRacing action in the future. Hit that red subscribe button for more. But signing it off for the final time in Leave the Pack Season 3, I am your host, Winston Neal, signing it off from the WD Broadcasting Network. Peace out. Have a good night.